All right, I will take door number one. Thank you very much. Altering perceptions. And the reason that this came up is because we were having a conversation about the New York Times bestseller list and how one of my goals when Spin Sucks, the book, came out was to make the bestseller list. What's interesting about that is when you're out there in the real world, not in the marketing, social, digital world that we're in, people have put a big emphasis on that title, that moniker. And so when you have that, you tend to be able to increase your speaking fees. You tend to get more attention from big corporations. You tend to get invited to come inside organizations to work with marketing teams. When you don't have that, while you may very well have the opportunity to talk to an industry-specific organization, you don't necessarily get the bigger kinds of things that you may or may not want. For us, I definitely want to be able to work with some of the Fortune 10 companies. I'd love to be able to go into some of those organizations and work with their marketing and communications teams. But what I've learned over the last year since Spin Sucks came out is that sucks is a bad word. And so we don't always get invited to those things because sucks is a bad word and they don't want to put that book on their CEO's desk, which is kind of ridiculous. But I mean, it was a bad word when we were kids. But but also that not having that moniker, it does handicap you a little bit. And I think to your point, which is an interesting one, as we were talking offline, is if we always place emphasis on those meaningless metrics, then they will always be there. And another great example of that is in my industry, we place a lot of emphasis on getting stories placed and what's called media impressions and advertising equivalencies, and we're not putting enough emphasis on the real metrics that are tied to sales. And when you do tie things to sales, you're called a snake oil salesman or unethical or things like that. And I think that that's just wrong, because our job as marketers is to help an organization grow. If it's more donors, if you're a nonprofit, if it's increased revenue, if you're a for-profit organization, whatever it happens to be, that is our job as marketers. And if we're not spending time on those kinds of metrics, then we'll never change the perception.